welcome to all you first year Australian doctors. My name's Sam Hazardine. I'm a doctor like you, and I am the Managing Director of MedRecruit, Australia's #1 agency for assisting junior doctors to create a lifestyle in medicine. Look, I'm really excited to be on this webinar with you, how first year doctors can triple their income and take control of their careers through locuming, because we've got some fantastic stuff to cover that's going to empower you, and it will place you at an advantage to create the lifestyle and the career you want. You really can have both. So, why have you taken time out of your hectic lives to be on this call? I know how busy junior doctors are. Look, you've seen an opportunity and I applaud you for seizing it. Junior doctors are not being treated as they deserve. You guys are being underpaid, and at times you're definitely being overworked. Change isn't coming quickly enough, and as a direct result, 25% of Australian medical graduates are no longer practicing in Australia within 3 years of graduation. Shocking. Look, you're on this call, so you obviously aren't totally satisfied with the status quo. Great. That is the first step to making change happen. Not waiting for the system to change for you, but proactively making change happen now. Smart doctors are going locuming in their second postgraduate year. They're not hoping that conditions will magically improve, but they're making the system work for them, and they're making it work for them right now. Locuming gives you the power. It gives you the autonomy to choose where and when you work, and also it gives you the power to choose what you earn. And it also gives you the freedom to travel and to have the adventures that every young person wants and deserves. For years, doctors have been penalised and have been told that they need to sacrifice a lot of what's important to them to practice medicine. But you don't need to do that anymore. Now you can have it all, a lifestyle and a career. So, today we're first going to go over what locuming is and how you can use it to earn 3 times as much money as you can in a salaried role. I'm then going to give you the 5 secrets that you absolutely must know to make locuming work for you. Then, look, I've got a great interview with a doctor, a second-year doctor called Dr. Amanda Willis to share with you. Now, look, she couldn't be here tonight, so I interviewed her the other day, and I'll play that interview to you. And finally, at the end of the call, I'll give you the step-by-step process that you need to follow if you decide that you want to locum in your first term. Then, at the end, we're going to have questions. So, let's get started. We've got a lot to cover, so I think we just need to crank into it. Now, we'll begin with a brief overview of locuming. What it is and how you can use it to earn 3 times as much money, and how you can, take control of your career using it. Locuming used to be seen as a stopgap measure to fill last-minute short-term vacancies. Now, this isn't the case anymore. Because of the massive shortage of doctors in Australasia, in New Zealand and in Australia, hospitals are turning to locums to fill long-term roles. In fact, the average length of jobs that MedRecruit places locums in is full-term 3-month placements. Locuming is fantastic. You get paid at least 3 times as much money as a salaried doctor, and you're in control. You can work when and where you want whilst getting well rewarded, and you can have a great time doing it. The starting rate for locum house officers is $75 an hour, and we've got some RMOs earning up to $270 an hour. Pretty fantastic money. You can do it anywhere in Australia, or you can do it in New Zealand. You can locum on a ski field, or you can locum at beachside resorts. The choice is yours. There's a huge amount that you need to know about locuming, and you're obviously not taught it in medical school, which is why you're on this call. Now, I'm going to give you everything you need to know to make locuming work for you. I really wish that I'd had this info when I graduated, because it would have saved me a lot of time, a lot of frustration, and a lot of money. It's something that every doctor needs, because locuming is here to stay. It's a part of the medical system, and you have to understand it to make that medical system work for you, rather than you working as a cog in the medical machine. So, now that you've got an understanding of what locuming is, let's go through the 7 myths that are preventing some doctors from taking up this awesome opportunity. Now, these myths that I'm going to cover are exactly that. They're myths. They are lies that doctors are being fed, and as a result, they're causing some doctors to not go locuming when it really is a perfect solution for them. With an understanding of these myths, you won't subscribe to them anymore, and you'll have the clarity that eludes a large proportion of doctors. So myth number 1, locuming will negatively affect my career. Now, many doctors don't know exactly what career in medicine they want to pursue when they graduate from medical school. because they get caught up in the rat race, a lot of these doctors get funneled into training programs that might not necessarily be right for them. They don't realise it's not right for them until a few years down the track, but then they stick with the program because they don't want to think that they've wasted the last few years. Now, this really is the formula for an unhappy and an unfulfilling medical career. But there is a better way. If you're not 100% certain what career path you want to pursue, then locuming offers the perfect solution. After their provisional registration year, smart doctors are turning to locuming for a few years, and they're using this to determine what they enjoy doing. And they're having fun along the way. Locuming puts you in control. You choose what specialty you work in, and you choose where you work. Now, this gives you the power to experience different specialties of your choice and to figure out what works best for you. And you also get the added bonus of tripling your income while doing the best thing for your career. Not bad. Isn't it worthwhile spending 2 or 3 years, which is the average time that people locum, it's the average time that locums who come to MedRecruit spend doing it, spending that time, that 2 or 3 years, enjoying yourself, having fun, and really finding out what it is you like in medicine before you start specialty training? That way, you'll know that the training is right for you and will therefore give yourself the best chance to have a fulfilling and fun career. The key, so locuming doesn't negatively affect your career and in fact complements it, is to take longer term locum positions so you really get a chance to experience a job and to determine if it's right for you. For a lot of training programs, locum work can count as long as you're taking the longer term placements. And remember, the long-term locum positions also look the same on your CV as salaried positions. If you're not 100% what career path you want to take, or if you want travel, adventure, autonomy, and great financial rewards, then locuming is the way to go. Do not subscribe to the myth that locuming will negatively affect your career. As a second-year doctor, this just isn't the case, and in fact, locuming is the perfect way to get yourself set up for a fulfilling career. Now, myth number 2, dealing with tax is difficult. Many doctors are under the mistaken impression that when you work as a locum, tax is so difficult to organise that it's really not worth it. Now, I understand this because, again, this is something we're not taught about in medical school. We don't have a 101 on accounting. But because this is so far from the truth, I'm here to dispel the myth today. The fact is that the ability to dramatically reduce your tax, even if you hire an accountant to do your entire bookkeeping, almost always means that your tax burden is far less as a locum than when you're an employee. If you decide to do it yourself, there's a wee bit more to doing your taxes than when you're an employee, but the benefit is that you pay less tax on your overall income, which means you keep more money for yourself, more money in your pocket. As a locum, you're self-employed, and you'll be able to claim back all of your expenses that relate to your employment. Now, this is worth doing because you're only taxed on your income after all the expenses have been deducted. Examples of expenses include transport, cell phone bills, medical registration, medical indemnity insurance, education and food expenses. Now, there are definitely some differences in tax with regard to Australia and New Zealand, so I'll quickly go through those main differences. As you know, in Australia you need a tax file number. The New Zealand's equivalent is called an IRD number. IRD stands for Inland Revenue Department. Also, in Australia, many locums go on the hospital's payroll, especially in New South Wales, so tax is something that's taken care of for them. Now, one thing that as a locum you do need to look into is GST. In Australia, you've got to be GST registered if your annual turnover for this month and the last 11 months has exceeded 75 grand, and if your turnover for this month and the next 11 months is expected to exceed $75,000. Now, as most locum doctors are going to make this much money in less than 3 months, they'll need to register for GST. Now, the benefit of being GST registered is that you get all your GST back on purchases that are related to your practice. Now, when you're GST registered, you earn it in addition to your hourly rate, so it's only a good thing. In New Zealand, the threshold for being GST registered is $50,000, so you'll earn this in a couple of months, so you'll need to get registered. So tax really isn't that hard, but it's an area that you can use to your advantage to keep more money in your pocket. And if you want someone else to do it, a good accountant is just a phone call away, and as a locum, it's not a lot of money to employ an accountant.